Good morning, everybody. This is Max Farrow. This is DexFXMarkets.com. Today is the 27th of May, and we're getting started here. We're going to be doing some trading right off the bat. I'm going to pull up our series here where we're getting into the Dex Atomic TV, standing for Trading View, and we're working on getting all the training on, all the systems on, being able to sign up for the indicator, all that kind of good stuff. It's coming, I promise. I promise it'll be here soon. In the meantime, I just want to check the news real quick. See let's see, we got some 12:30. We had a whole bunch of 10. We had a little bit of 10. Nothing too serious in there. Got a little bit of stuff later on, but that's about it. Let me see. Can I invite people to this channel right here? See if I do that. We might be around for a while. We're going to be asking some questions. We're going to be inside the chat room here on the system. Let me go into here. And post arena. Okay. All right. So it's right around 11:01. Let's get right into it. We have our live account up. We'll be trading live this morning. We're on our, let me get off my futures menu here and get into my other. Okay. So we got 1, 2, that's some movement there on the euro. We have some on the euro USD right here. Let's pull that one up. We're going to expand out. We got a little bit of movement out. This is the working order area. Boy, that's pretty far off, but still I want to pull back in and utilize that number 10006. And we're looking at that on the euro USD. Let's see. We're going to be looking for 12 o'clock. Did I do that on the right one? Oh, 06. Yeah, I did. I would be all the way up here. Wow. It's quite a bit of movement there. So let me check that one again. Go on a 5-minute. Okay. Yeah, we're about 30 pips down from there. This area right here, secondary zone. Now there's two ways to trade on the Forex. There's true structure right here and then dynamic structure. Dynamic structure takes a little bit more to read, right? Because we're looking right here. This is where we're at this level. You can kind of see this little box level from here to here is that level. And you can kind of see that we're bouncing off that level right now to shift back up into there. And then there is another level that is sitting right around here. Okay, in between these two levels, you have a bounce zone, if you will. Okay, there's no other news happening. It's been pushed down. Now it's going to come up and kind of divvy around. If not, it's going to push through and bounce between these two levels. But these are two dynamic structure levels. Really see. And why didn't I just take it to the top here? You could have. There's some other suggestions in there for that, but what I look at is that where does it peak and come back down to? These are hunters here, right? The shoulders are really true levels. That's a true level right there. That's what we're looking for. Into the mean between the two levels, and that's 0980, 0980, 0980, 0980 right there, $31. 980, and there we go. That's we're close. Okay, let's go back to the overview charts. Euro JPY, but we're already into a euro. Great Britain pound USD. Let's pull or maybe up there and check that. It has a lot. It's had a lot of movement, just a ton. Okay, so we're pretty good with. Let's look at. Something to kind of gravitate to. We would stay with true structure since we don't have any dynamic to deal with, and that would be in between these two. 2236, 2236. Let's get over there and have a look. 2236. There's 42 because we're doing a cell. We wouldn't, and we're using true structure, right? So you're not going to break it in. So 32, 22, 32. What does that look like on the chart? 22, 32 is just right at that base. So that's right around in that area. Is there any money on 32? No. Okay. So if I was going to do that, I would stay true to my structure mentality. So 2236, but that would be 42. So I would do 32. And that's where we'll put a working order on. Now remember, working orders will take up some of your balance. So keep that in mind. And now let's look at, I'm only trading one contract at a time since I'm getting back into trading live on Nadex on the series. I'm only trading a little bit at a time just to get my feel. I'm using new charts. I'm using new systems. So again, I'm resetting, right? Doesn't harm to reset. Let's go over and have a look at this is the masters. These are the 5 master ones. Now let's go over to the secondaries and have a look at those. Boom, boom. And that's still only on 1 hour. So 1 hour. Here we go. I haven't had a chance to reset some of these. Where are the reset chart? There we go. It's probably much easier. No signal there, no signal there. Wow, the secondaries don't have any signal. Oh, wait, there's one. Okay. Let's get into that one. We're at about more than we're. So I'm not really happy about that. Remember, you want to be very timely with this process. Now, we're in the Great Britain pound or JPY. So this is something that, again, we don't have a lot of information to the left. We have a zone that's right here that's pushing up against. So if I were to get push back from here, okay, where would I go? I would try to go to structure, but again, where can you see structure here? Right? We have some right here. We have some sort of in between this zone right here, right? It becomes a box, if you will. I could draw a box on here. Where is that at? Yeah. Between this area and that area. Okay. So this would be a zone where it could kind of come back up into and feel a little retaliation. Why? Because we have this one hitting off right here. And we have this little hiccup right here. You see that little, that kind of gives you a little bit of an idea of a temporary dynamic zone that this is setting up in. It doesn't, not like for this one and this one, but you see how you get 1, 2, 3, or 4 in a row. That first little hit is considered just like a little hip check, right? These don't really matter so much because you got one, you got another. This is the nagging battle, right? This is a nagging battle. Kind of pushes you back up, right? But as soon as it give that first long bar, this becomes dynamic. All right. And this line right here will shove right through that dynamic because it sees this as like stalling. So just trying to give you a heads up into the actual mentality behind the trading itself and what all the lines mean and what they are. And you can, it's like Van Gogh. You can see whatever you see, right? So So go right into the mean. 131.91, 131.91 on Great Britain pound GPY. 131.91, but there's 97, no money on it, and 87, 131.87 with a possibility. This is 21.50, but let's look at 87 on the chart. Remember, we're not here to force feed. There's 86, there's 87, 89, where it really need to be to break. So I can go with that. So what I'm going to do is just do that in 25. We're going to do that on the place order. And we're going to make a working order. So we got two working orders, one for Great Britain pound JPY, one for Great Britain pound USD. If one of them sort of done, right? I have a 5 contract account that I do right now. I only trade 5 contracts at any one time on the board. So do I do 5 at once, or do I do use 5 over, 5 pairs? So am I hunting out 5 pairs to be into, right? And the answer is, all right, there's a Great Britain pound JPY. I'm pulling this other one off. We're going to look at the 137. Okay, so it's been filled. 722. 730, 87. We're going to put another one on there. I don't think that one's going to get bought in there. And that euro is in there. 1980, 1980. We're going to do that too. There we go. So we're in 2 for there. That's 3 on right now. I don't think we're going to get bought on this one, the secondary one. This yields out. It'll give us a $175, or probably even more than that. Let's see. 33 and 25, 66, 81, $82 per contract session. Now, how do we call that out, right? How is that theoretically called out? When you hear us say we had a $75 one contract session, what does that mean? That means that during this session, this trading session, this 1 hour or 2 hour trading session, like at the end of my trading time that I trade in a day, what is it that I do, right? How much money have I made? What have I done? It doesn't matter how much money overall I won, right? So I want you to see this per contract, per session, right? How much money did I, if of all 3 of these won? I did 3 contracts. Just 1 contract at a time. How much would I have won? So here is a let's see, it's 25. So that's $58, right? So that's a $58 trading session per 1 contract. And because I traded the second one, you see, I want to stay between $58 and $75 per contract trading sessions, because that's where that's where I feel that I get the most value, right? Now on this too, we're breaking a danger. I kept the other ones off. I'm going to take this one off now because I see Euro USD doing something kind of funky now. So we're going to jump back over and we're going to look at that Euro USD. Move my pretty face out of the way here. Jump back over to the 1 hour master. Here's that Euro USD. We're going to pull them up on the big chart. Okay, so I'm going to bring this one up here. And I'm going to go down to, I'm going to drive this down to 80. Right there. You can kind of see where. I'm going to change the color of this one. I'm going to change this blue right here so we can see it. This is our line right here. It's our line in the sand. I probably should have moved on that one pretty quickly. But we're already in for $33 per contract, and I really want to do another one. This is just getting greedy. There's just sitting it for $39 as well. Gets up to 40. And that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to not drop. Okay, there it is. Market value, place order. Last one on. Because it's so tight, now we're up to $35 on that one. So because this is so tight, why did I do that? Why did I put that? Let me annotate right in here. Draw one and right there. Okay. So because we're at this level, and I want you to kind of see this here and here. When we're dropping back down and it comes back up, it's hitting off of this zone right here. Now that 80 has a 2 pip minus in it, right? So if it gets to 78 in here, it's actually in a losing factor for us, right? Because on Nadex is like 1.7 going to be in there. So it could get to a close to be that 1.7. But remember, we want this movement, comes down, comes back up again. We want this little movement because this is where the test is, right? And the test is that all those people that have stop losses here, they're getting out, so then they're selling off. So that's what we want to happen, right? We want that zone tested in that solution. So once I seen that test, I knew that it was time to put on other contracts. Now, in most cases, for you beginning traders and all that stuff, one contract on, stay with your balance as the primer for how you choose how many contracts you put on. Okay. I can vary this process because I know my system well enough and I know the levels well enough to be able to tell myself that is a prime area right here, right? And it's strong, right? It's not strong as, say, a green red, coming down and bouncing off with an up arrow right here, right? With just being up. But it's still strong. So we're going to allow that to test and allow that to do its thing. Could we lose? Absolutely. How much would we lose if it does go out of the money? I don't know if I would do what we call a recovery trade, where we wait for it to go OTM by a equivalent of a 1-to-1 ratio, and then put on a $25 take profit per contract at that point, because we know that even if it does come back to retest, we can probably make our money. Okay. So we're going to leave this up for a little bit. Let me see if there's do else. Good morning. My screen is blurry. Not sure if it's just me. You may want to put some glasses on, maybe, or you getting old there, Chris? I don't know what's happening now. Yes, it is what it is. I have my favorite tech sign up here. I gotta change my account. We have up here. I gotta change it over to DexFX Market so I can comment. Too funny, right? All right. Sometimes the gather rate on, if you're using Wi-Fi and all that kind of stuff. So here we are now being pushed on that one. You can kind of see 0980. That's okay. We got 40 minutes left. We have a few trades on. This takes us to a different level because now we got 3 trades on there at 35. So this would be a 75. Let's see, 90. Yeah, this would be a pretty good session. 105, 130, $130 session right there. We can pull that off and win our win. And this would be good, right? If we were in trading at full bore at 5 contracts at a time per process, right? So what I mean by that is that if I'm going to trade and I have a balance of, say, you know, 56, or I have maybe a balance of like $2,000, I can only trade really 3, or 3 to 4 contracts per session, right? Per sitting down, like this little session right here is how many contracts can I fulfill? Now I could probably do, with my balance, I could probably do a lot more in here, right? So I could really play the process here, but there's no real need to, right? I also look at my 70% rule on contracts, right? So if I really want to get, I mean, yeah, this is 3 contracts for 35. So 35 times 0.7. Let's see, did I do that right? So 35. Did I do that wrong? I did that wrong. Right. So that would be just under, I'm only ever really going to get to 70% of my profit value there, right? So I would probably put a take profit in for $24.50 or $25 to see if it would get bought up. Okay. Because as this drops down, as it's doing what it's supposed to do now, hopefully, and continue on 1, 2, 3, and then maybe up some, and 1, 2, 3, and just kind of generally drop down and get back down to this area because it's got some gap in there. This is where I want this to push and then come back down and be right around in this area. And then it can go do whatever it's going to go live his happy little life with its trees and his bushes and stuff. But, but there's a process that this is a pretty strong zone as well. So as it's coming back down, it might get some resistance in there, but. So we got there's some heavy lifting still to do. We got 3 bars up now. So hopefully we'll have a good push here to really push back at it. But I'm not going to add in any more at this point. We have a position value of 220. Now, what happens if all 3 were to lose? Well, this one's 14 pips in the front. So I don't know why it's not have more money on it, but if all 3 were to lose, 60 is about $180 in the hole from that, and then, yeah, this one, so it's about 175, 160. So we'll be doing okay. I still had a very good week. I had a $125 session yesterday and $180 something session the other day per single contract kind of thing. So, I had traded 2 or 3 times. I traded 3 times yesterday and 4 times the day before. So I was dealing with that. Okay. Now, if we break through this zone, we will probably look at, we're sitting in like a 180 loss right now. If I try to add in all the processes there, let's see here. If I try to make this a 1-to-1, right? If I tried to make this a 1-to-1, yeah, how much more would that cost? Well, we would have to buy 3 contracts at 65 on their side. So it would have to get up to 65. So Euro USD 08, this would have to get up to 65 for me to buy 3 contracts at that point to make this a 1-to-1 risk to reward. Does that make sense? Pretty cool. All right. So sitting around for an hour, what do we do? What do we talk about? I'm not sure. I'm not getting old. I am old. All right, buddy. All right. Well, there's a lot of stuff that we got on the plate. Let's go have a look at some of it. We put together our new Dex TV system. It's coming now. Dex TV is what you're seeing right now. is these charts, these processes. Now, we've had a little bit of an issue, not with TradingView directly, but with the mechanics and the logistics, maybe even the legality of TradingView, that we're okay trading Forex and showing Forex being traded, but there is a small legality on trading commodities and indices. Now, commodity and indices are very well protected, by the Futures Agency, NFA, the SEC, the TCFR, MGNOK, maybe, or whatever, right? So, but there's a lot of legality to when you try to either get data or help people figure out how to trade them or what have you, because they're very influenced. Okay, so even though that we're on a derivative, which means we don't actually touch the market, we're still subjects to, because we're asking for certain things from the commodities market. The TradingView charts themselves are live on Forex and cryptocurrencies. Like the data is, you can see, is right at the time, right? 11:25. And if I pull up my chart here, my charts for commodities right now, let's say on the 1 hour, you'll see that I have purchased, this is 11:15, 11:25. It's a 5-minute. I don't know why that's out. I don't know why that's so out. It shouldn't be out. That's 11:05. I purchased the package. You can see that now I gotta find them again. Reset the chart. Yeah, this should be live data coming over. NYMX. Maybe I don't have those. Did I not have those? Thought I did. All right, yeah, so there's the 11:25s. Yeah, so I have the comics ones. I didn't set up my NMX ones, and I have to do that by going to my profile and choosing those. But let's look at the indices as well, and you'll see that these guys. I hope I got the right ones on this one. Did I get the right ones on this one? 25. Yep. That one you got right. 25. 25. Yep. Yeah, I got all the data on the indices right. Commodities, I missed one. And so it's the actual time on it. But if we go back to that commodities, the one that I didn't have, the NX New York, exchange stock, this exchange here. All right, I didn't have the proper data. You see, so it's offset. It's 11:15 data. The last bar is 11:15, and it's working off 10 minutes ago, right? So we don't know what it's doing at that point. I was actually trading with off data for like a week with this, right? Only because I wanted to see if I had the data, would it still work? Now, it probably done some things that kind of threw me off a little bit, so but I was still trading at like 80-85% success rate with these, really close to the vest, like it really, like going to the first bar and boom and winning, right? First bar and winning, not having a problem, following my Dex Atomic B strategy, right? So I really wasn't having a problem, putting up the working order up here, knowing that where my working orders are, they're down here, this one here, and staying true to those. I was winning 95% of them, even in the status of, hey, this is off late, right? I'm getting in like 10 minutes late on a chart. So on a 5-minute chart, I'm 10 minutes late, right? So I don't know how much more I'll be using the data to trade commodities. I may personally not trade commodities at all and spare myself the extra $11 a month. That's all it really was, $11, $12 a month that it'll be for you to get the extra data from that solution. So, okay, so we're still kind of playing around those levels in there. Here's that euro. See, we're pushing away from that level. Look at this. It's almost like to the T. Now, not to be braggadocious, but I think that if we would have put in another one there, see, there's $38 per session. Now this profit loss, right? So some people are like, well, you got one pair on, you wanted to make 25 bucks. There it is. Why don't you just grab it? Well, that's a little bit different. I'm risking, I'm not willing to take it at those levels. I'm willing to let the system do what it's supposed to do for that risk. This is where our relationship comes in, right? With that pair, knowing the levels, and we're going to probably gravitate to this. And I'm hoping, this is what I'm hoping, that we don't just push off to make this line straighten out, right? We got some work here. Here's what's going to happen. This is what we're looking for it to happen. It's pushing off this top, right? They get lower, lows get lower, highs get lower, right? High, but lower than your high is just below that, right? If it even came up about halfway, I'd be okay, right? But again, we were just at one line. Now we're back up to that line again as it pushes into some resistance on it. I feel like a commentator for blow by blow at a boxing match. This is what it is. The guy in the red trunks, green trunks won. The guy in the red trunks won, right? That's all it is, a boxing match. They won that round. A perpetual, never-ending boxing match, knocking each other silly. And that's what I feel like sometimes. That's all trading is. It's just knocking each other silly in a world of of fights and arguments and discussions and polarization. You're going to win some, you're going to lose some, of course. And that's what we're hoping, to just win more than we lose, right? All right. So this is the telltale. When I trade, whether or not I win or I lose at this point, this is my network. This is what I do to trade. So I come in to try to show you how to take the actual charts. Whether or not they win or lose should not validate the system. Especially, I went in and I did a trades the other day, and I had somebody who was shadowing over my shoulder, watching me trade, and they were in my office and they were watching me trade. And they're like, that's very easy. I could just sit and watch you trade, and I could follow what you do and do it. And I have to tell you that there are some rooms and companies out there that do that nonsense. But for me, it's nonsense. It's, why would I let you trade over my shoulder? I have, 8-9 years worth of experience trading. Not that, it wouldn't be fair, but you would rob yourself of the experience of learning how to trade. That's not teaching you how to trade. That's you standing on my shoulders as you're trading. Now I'm not only responsible for you, but I have you trading, and I have responsibilities for you trading and doing it right. Right. I had went to try to copy somebody's trades once a long time ago, and I made a mistake. And I was like, well, I made a mistake. So that's why I lost. But then that person that I was following made a mistake. And so now I not only will benefit from your successes, but I will benefit from your great failures. Right. But only in trust, not in the work. When I make a mistake, either reading the market wrong, or now I don't try to read the market wrong. It's not about reading it right or wrong. It's about reading it in my favor. I might put on the wrong level, or I might put in too many contracts, or I might pick the wrong time frame. If I do one of those things, that's a mistake you haven't learned by your own misgiving. You've learned it by my misgiving. So you have me to blame. So it doesn't really teach you anything. We have a Discord group, very powerful solution in there. We rarely, there's not very many people in it, because there's a call to action in there that it's very technical, right? That there's a lot of stuff that's happening. I don't know where it just went. But either way, but that's like the cause and effect in there too, is that there's a calming effect of going in and seeing other people trade. We have Ron Fickert, we have David Menning, we have a handful of people in our Hackmeister who are in there that are trading and showing their trades being done, but there's still a prolific exchange of learning how to trade by doing it yourself and learning those feelings. Like we're about to finish off here in the next 10 minutes. I have to get going because I got to get to, meetings at the top of the hour and everything else. I need to show you, what is successful, what's not successful is not about what's on the screen, right? In fact, I can take that off. It's not about what's on the screen. It's what's about how are you deciding to pull your trades? Are you using dynamic structure? Are you using true structure, like the green, the actual support and resistance areas, and are you using that structure as a base? You may not get into many, but the ones you do, you're going to win, right? Like, let's go back and look at, we don't really have any dynamic structure up here for this one. This is where the signal came out. Did it win? If we went back to true structure, it was here. Five. And this one would not have won this morning. This one would have been a loss. This one would have been a win. You would have gotten it right here easily enough, been a win. This one, if you go back to structure here at this red line right here, win. Here, we didn't have any true structure up here, but we teach you go back 12, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and the highest point of that point right there, win. Right? If you're going to use that kind of dynamic structure within that first 12 bars, find a high or a low in that system. Okay, win. This would have been a very good win right here. Lots of money. Say about $30 per each one of these. Boom, win. Boom, win. If we go back to the highest structure here, even if we go back to full structure, it still would have got bought here. We would have lost. We would have probably lost $100. So we would have done an OTM trade system. We've lost probably $100. But 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. One loss there. We would have won here because we would have gotten in here back to this zone right there, or even back to here, and would have gotten picked up right here. So 6 to 1, 7 to 1. Now here, back to this dynamic structure right here, and it won right here. See what I'm saying? So there is a strong, so it's that 8 to 1 so far. 8 to 1, 9 to 1 if this one pulls off, and the win. Okay, so you go 9 to 1, and what is that? Like if you're doing how many trades? If you just sat on the Euro USD for the last 4 hours, 5 hours, right, since 1 o'clock in the morning, if you traded that time period, right, this is an example, and you did, it's 8 to 1, right? So you won 8, and let's just say you did $25. That's $200. And then you lost one, so you lost 75. So that's $125 for your session per single contract. You just put one contract down. How do you make 250? Do 2 contracts. You do 500, do 4 contracts. Following this solution here is just following a rule. Use dynamic, you use dynamic, you use true structure, but either way, you're following a pattern. You're following a process. You find the consistency, and you go from there. That's where you add the volume, 2 contracts, 3 contracts, 4 contracts. But literally, if I wanted to, I could sit on 1 or 2 pairs. Now, why wouldn't I want to just have all 10 pairs up and trading all 10 every single hour? Because literally, the market is a snapshot of now, right? And if the market's going supernova, super crazy, and I lose that one, now I lose 1, but then I lose 5 or 4 or 3 out of these because they all operate differently, right? That's why I don't do a euro and a Great Britain pound, a Great Britain pound. And I try to stay away from double overs, right? Right? Euro USD and Great Britain pound JPY. Did we just take a large dump on this? Oh, that's the Australian. There we go. So hopefully it'll stay in that margin right there. And the 12. We were up to $38 now in the 12. So 1 pip put, something, so much money on it. But again, that's the market makers and they're doing their thing. Okay, we're about 6 pips off. We're about 20 minutes out. The evil. Yeah, the evil. I'm trading binary. Well, this is not really a binary option. It is a derivative off of Nadex, the North American Derivative Exchange. It's called a binary on their system, because a simple binary yes or no answer. So it's not like a binary option on like the overseas offshore broker stuff. This is a U.S. company that's traded publicly. It's owned by a very big corporation, and it has a lot of opportunity, a little bit safer than a lot safer than Forex. So you should probably check them out, nadex.com. We're not affiliated with them at all, so we don't get any money from them. We don't have any conflict of interest, but we do have a signal system over at dexfxmarkets.com. I have to explain something too. We had a comment on the website a little while ago that your website's not secure. Well, yes and no. You are correct. Our website doesn't have an HTTPS for this little shell that you see here, right? Why? Because no information, your information, is not held on this system, right? When you log in, you don't log in. See, this is a WordPress system. We have another program called Entreport, which is our security system and our data information holding platform, if you will, right? So when you sign up, when you buy, when you use your credit card, when you use all that stuff, you don't use any of that, right? You use our system. I'll show you what that looks like and where all that information, and I don't mind telling you, right? I'm very transparent. When you buy into a system, I want you to see this URL up here. This URL, this is where you buy in at. This is secure. When you get your passwords and you log into the system itself, all right, you log into the network. The only thing that's held on that WordPress website is my email and Chris's email. That's it. There's 6 admins, and they're the only emails that are held in it. Nobody's credit card information is held on dexfxmarkets.com. It's all held in with Stripe and our network, and all those systems are secure, I promise you. But just so you know, our website has some unique features to it, and we've opened them up to be, because when you have the HTTPS, there's some iframe stuff that we have, techie stuff, right? But our website is secure, just so you know. All right, let's back over real quick. Now, if I were to take all 3 of those, right, 3 times 35, it's $105, right? I'm at $54, so I'm down. I would be down 5, but I wasn't really intending to really do that. So this would be $130 when today, 76.87. We can kind of leave that on. See, what I wanted to do now, okay, what I wanted to do now is to drop down below here, below this little nut right here, right? Because this is our, boom. I wanted to drop down and close right around in here, and I'll be nice and smiley, okay? But until then, it has too much close reach to that side of it to kind of push up and finish up here. If it finishes up in this line, it might push the 2 pips above our Nadex venture here. So that's what, there he goes. Okay. So we got about 2 more minutes for it to try to close down around in here and get down here, and maybe just right here, and kind of validate this little push here. Elmo's world. Okay, let's jump over to Well, the cool thing also about like commodity, like I'm finishing putting in all the data that's in here, and you'll see the data that's the commodity setups and all that kind of stuff, right? So I'm going to clear all that stuff out of there. Like what is a commodity? What does Nadex look at? The COMEX, NYMX, gold futures, trading view. Here's the the symbol on trading view, what the Dex atomic system is. But it's a very powerful program in there to be able to trade at those levels. But for those of you that are watching this, that are free members, that you don't need the extra headache in your life when you're trading, when you're trying to figure out trading, geez, jump in here, get onto this chart. Here's the Euro USD trade we're in right now. Okay. Look at this. I want you to see this, right? On our chart. See, there's a lot of information in here, but it uses a little bit different process than the one that you're seeing on the network, right? The one that I'm showing on TradingView, this line is, look at that, 0979 right there, that you would have chose 80, right? Because it also sees what I see from previous structure values, right? Tip outs like this, how far did it push out? And then, zones, it sees this zone. Then you can decide from that point. You could have made the same thing that I did over here on the chart, right? But you don't, on this one, you see, I seen that. This has a little bit more safety value in here and put in, right? But that's pretty powerful. 0959, we're 21 pips now down to the system. So $89. I see $90. There we go. Now we're, what is 70%? I could take right now. I could take that because I would make my 75 per each one, right? And not to be too greedy, it's 13 minutes away, right? 105 times 70% equals $73, right? So I'd be up. And because it dropped 21 pips in less than 10 minutes, I'm not, let's go look at that. Let's see, here's 510. So let's see, 0980. All right. So it's heading down to its world of intent. I'm very, very happy now because we were able to get this. I'm going to leave this on. Normally I would scalp out this process to get to my 25 bucks per each one, but this is a nice little $130 day. Okay. Nice little $130. If this one loses out, then we're down to a $50 day or $80 day, but I'm not too worried about it. I don't think this one's going to pull off. Let's go have a look at the GJ here to see how well. We're going to load. We're going to pull up the Dex 1 hour secondary. There's some GJ there. See, we came back. Where did we do that one at? On 131.87. Yeah, so that this area, it is getting push on. So it's up to 82. So we got about 5 pips on that one with 10 minutes left. Well, if we look at that one, if we dissect this one, here's 87. And why did I do this 87 one? Do you guys remember? All right. I'll show you why. I'll reread this again. Here's this little level right there. There's that level right there. Okay. So this in the line from this coming down, if it's going to be doing its thing, and now we got this little curl around. So it makes me a little nervous that it's going to kind of stay back up here. I'm going to try to finish off somewhere in this zone or just below this zone because of this right here. Okay. You have an impulse 1, 2, 3, 4, little pullback, push down. This impulse run, it's going to try to get back up to a level. And where do they normally get to? Right around that area. So there's 83, 84, and we should get a little pushback into here now. It's sitting at 84, 85 right now. So there's 84 and 87. We jump back up about another 7 pips in here. And I don't see us being too aggro on that one. We're going to pop out of this. There we go. Now we made our 25 on that one. That's good. And we're going to leave this one on. This is where we wanted to be, to pop down in here because it gravitate to here and for it to go down. The Great Britain pound JPY. Here's where that zone was that we talked about, right? Came back up, pushed off. We'll come back down in here in this area, maybe push back up and try to finish off in this area somewhere from this zone. This is a really tough zone to be in. And if we do the reread, there it is as well. All right. Well, in less than 10 minutes, I have a meeting that I have to be in. So I do apologize, but I will have to go. I'm gonna have to leave you here with this cliffhanger. We won the 75 off the other one per one contract, $25 per contract. Easy. I think there was even just a little bit more on a live account right in front of you. But because I have to go, I don't want to leave this trade on within the process. But I think we're going to be just fine in that solution. Scalped out early. Rarely do that in any regard. But I want to leave on a high note with this process, is that you don't have to scalp out. That would have left just fine. As you can kind of see 69, 67, or about 13 pips, 14 pips off. So we would have been just fine within the next 8 minutes. All right. I'm Max Farrow. This is TexFXMarkets.com. And again, I got to get ready for this meeting at 12 o'clock. So I do apologize. But for the most part, this was, I hope you got a lot of information from looking at those zones and seeing the different qualities of the charts, even grabbing this Great Britain pound JPY. Let me pull down my screen here. You wouldn't have had that same information here. Like I mean, you could see it, once you start learning the process. You have some of the same tools in here. You can kind of see, learning how to read the market, knowing what works and what doesn't work. There's that zone again. There we are right there. So this is a $100 trading session. There's 78. Yeah, we're back in just fine in there. All right. So I better get going, because if I'm late for that meeting, I will be in a lot of trouble. All right. Let me check Chris here. Thanks, Max. No worries. We're going to be doing a lot more as everything's coming out. We really do appreciate everybody hanging out with us today. I will try to schedule these to where we can stay on for more of the hour so you can finish the C. But you did see that we did win the one. We took the 25. I think it was like $26 or $27 per contract in that area. And we definitely going to be winning this one in the next 6 minutes. Even if we do lose this, we might have a break-even day or a break-even session. I will be back in trading the 1 o'clocks from the solutions. Please, if you're watching this for the first time, you haven't subscribed to the channel, please subscribe to the channel. Hit that smash that like button, smash the subscribe button. Also on our website, if you are a member, we survive on our ads and our donation page, right? So if you can donate, if you have the time to donate, please do, either with a one-time donation or a recurring donation. You will get access to all of our systems if you do, which is pretty cool. I don't know any other company in the world, a trading network, that does that. We are the only ones that I know of so far. So if you know of others, please congratulate them for being very considerate. You can also just buy out the program and buy full price of what you want. You get a lot of stuff in there. And plus you get all of the, when you're a full-time member, you get all the access to our Zedon bot, our Dex Atomic TV bot or indicator that you see. And soon we'll be connecting our TV system to a very special trading platform for Nadex, right? So we have our bot that we run for our signals in our systems, but we also will have a very, I guess, self-run bot that you can attach for, it just downloads to your computer and, or even to a VPS, and you can connect your alert system from TradingView to your special bot. So very powerful. It's on the way. There's a lot of work that's been done. Thanks to all the people on the wall of awesomeness. Again, I'm getting ticks on my watch here to tell me that I got to go. All right. I want to thank everybody for hanging out with us. We really do appreciate it. One last little look over here. 79. So we're sitting at 5. We're sitting pretty, 6-7 pips. So we're just fine. I'm Max. This is Dex. We'll see you next time. And as always, trade well. Ooh, gotta move over. See you guys.